Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Clix with Q. Tonight we're going to be doing a pinup for Black Widow from the Black Widow movie set. I'll be going over all the Black Widows in the set with the exception of the Black Widow on the motorcycle. Hope you enjoy. Alrighty, first on our list we have 001 Common Black Widow, the very first figure in the set. Obviously, her name is Natasha Romanoff. She has the keywords Avengers and Spy, which we'll see for all the Black Widows in the set. This one in particular has a improved targeting. She can improve targeting shoot-through characters, so that's kind of interesting. She has a trait called Shifting Focus, Black Widow. Free. If Black Widow began your turn on the map, replace her with another character with this trait. You'll find that 4 of the Black Widows we're going to be going over today have this trait, however the Chase does not. But that allows them to switch out in and out with one another, and when you look at their statistics, it's a pretty nice thing for them to be able to switch out. She has another trait called Espionage, Technology and Training. If Black Widow is on a themed team or your starting force has 2 other characters from the Black Widow movie set, opposing characters can't use improved targeting abilities to target her or adjacent friendly characters. So that's pretty useful. Let's look at her dial here. We got 3 clicks of stealth to start with, so if you want to keep her hidden from your opponents at the beginning of the game, you might want to use this particular dial. At the end there, she'll turn into Flurry. Precision Strike the entire time, which is very useful. This one has Perplex her whole dial. So this one might be a little bit more of a support piece, especially with that trait allowing her to have her and her friendly characters ignore the improved targeting of opponents. She starts with close combat reflexes. Pretty useful, especially since people have to pretty much get up right next to you in order to hit you with that stealth. And then she ends the dial with Super Senses. 75 points, as you're going to see with all the Shifting Focus Black Widows. So really not too bad for 75 points. Next on the list we have 005 Black Widow. Again, she's got that Shifting Focus Black Widow trait, so that's another thing we're seeing here. Espionage, Misdirection, and Misinformation. Leadership. If Black Widow is on a themed team where your starting force has 2 other characters from the Black Widow set, opposing characters on the map more than 6 squares from her can't be placed within 6 squares of her. So that's kind of useful to allow her to kind of sit in the back there, and you'll see why her sitting in the back is useful in a second here. Deploying assets to trouble spots across the planet is her special attack power. Telekinesis, but only to place other friendly characters of equal or lower points. When she uses it, choose Empower or Enhancement. The placed character can use the chosen power this turn. And then when we look at her dial, you see that she's got probability control the entire time. So obviously this is going to be a little bit more of a support piece, Black Widow, where she's using telekinesis to place her friends and using prob to, prob attacks. She starts with sidestep, has sidestep the whole dial, so she's a little squishy if people get up close to her, considering that her best defense is an 18 on the first click, but then after that it's a 17 with Super Senses. That energy shield deflection will be useful, kind of, but of course if she gets hit, she's going to be taking a pretty bad walloping. So you might want to switch her out with a different Black Widow when opponents get a little bit closer to her. Next on the list we have 009 Black Widow. This is the one with the white costume, which we saw in the trailer, but unfortunately we didn't see in the movie because it's not released yet. Not like I'm salty or anything, but anyway, this Black Widow has the same Shifting Focus trait, so you can switch her out with those other 2 that we've already gone over. Her Espionage trait is called Uncertain Allegiances. If Black Widow's on a themed team where your starting force has 2 other characters from the Black Widow set, an opposing character is generated or placed on the map from a sideline within 6 squares of her. After resolutions, both you and your opponent roll a d6. If your result is higher, give that character 2 action tokens. So that's useful against opponents who are generating people like, Stegron. Everybody's always using Stegron. That's all I ever see, Stegron. Stegron this, Stegron that. Anyway, I'm going to call that the anti-Stegron ability. She's got a special attack power. It's called Who Can You Trust? Smoke Cloud as free. Opposing characters occupying her smoke cloud markers can't use improved abilities or team abilities. Now that is very useful, especially against that slew of characters that we've had recently who can shoot through hindering with their little, I guess they call it espionage or like spy traits for a lot of those most recent sets. Turning her on over to the dial, she's got stealth the entire time, very useful. Obviously, that special attack power. She starts with an 18 defense and super senses, so that's pretty nice, especially if people have to get close to you to hit you. Ends the dial with close combat reflexes, very useful. And she's got outwit the entire dial, which is very, very useful. This Black Widow is going to be your little, like your sucker punch Black Widow. When your opponent thinks it's all over and they've got you on the hook, on the ropes, and you just whip out that outwit. All right. Next we have the 013 Black Widow. This one again is another shifting focus. She has an espionage bait and switch trait, which says Black Widow's on a themed team where your starting force has 2 other characters from the Black Widow set, and hits an opposing character that's equipped. Both you and your opponent roll a d6. If your result is higher, equip that opposing equipment to a friendly character, even if it has equip friendly. So think about this. You're fighting, say, Red Goblin or, Absolute Carnage, and you just go ahead and take their symbiote from them. I can't think of a dirtier way to kind of dismantle certain teams, especially like the Sinister Six teams that have a lot of people that have equipped items attached to them. She has a special attack power, Eskrima Skirmish. Quake. When Black Widow uses it, after resolutions, give each hit character an action token. I think it really can't be overstated how nice those types of powers are. The best ones, obviously, are the ones with the Pulse Wave action token, but this one with the Quake is very, very useful. Now, if you, say, gave her something like, All Black the Necro Sword, or this one, using her ability, acquired it from somebody saying, like, Null, then you're looking at 2 range with your Quake, giving action tokens to everybody. So that would be pretty mean. Looking at her dial, she starts with Charge. Very useful to get up early there and hand out those action tokens to opponents for the Bing Bang Boom in the next turn. Toughness, which is, kind of useful. I think if she's rolling in immediately to get those action tokens out, that toughness will be useful to reduce some damage, but there's other shifting focus styles that have a little bit better defense, if you ask me. Then she has Exploit Weakness her entire dial, so if you don't want to do the action token business, you can just really wallop somebody. Last but certainly not least, we have the Chase Black Widow 017. This one is particularly good. This is one of my favorite pieces in Heroclix right now. I'm always a big fan of Heroclix that have really beautiful sculpts and then also accurately depict the character's abilities on a dial that's fun to play and worth its cost. And this one is literally that. She has improved movement over elevated. That's very nice. She has a trait, Espionage, Patience. If Black Widow's on a themed team where your starting force has 2 other characters from the Black Widow set, standard friendly characters can't have their attack rolls of 10 or more re-rolled, and opposing characters targeting those characters can't have their attack rolls of 4 or less re-rolled. Now that is mean. I think that it was recently put in errata. There was some kind of update to that power. I have not gotten my hands on what that says, but obviously that's a very mean power. And for 100 points, this Black Widow, I think they nerfed it for a good reason. Anyway, next we have Espionage and Opportunity. Stealth. Black Widow starts the game with 5 Tradecraft tokens. Free. Remove a Tradecraft token to choose an opposing character within 6 squares and line of fire. Until your next turn, that character can't use a standard power unless it's displayed on their dial as a colored square, and cannot have their combat values positively modified. So this is going to be very useful against, for a great number of reasons. It's kind of like an Outwit, but it could be considered a little more useful than Outwit. So on the one hand, you can't outwit, colored powers on people's dials. But on the other hand, that means that if, say, they have a power that they're being able to use because of a special power or a trait, you can outwit that, which is very useful. Not to mention, they can't have their combat values positively modified. So say goodbye to, energy shield deflection, close combat reflexes, perplex, and then on their turn, even if you say you outwitted a power other than ranged combat expert, they wouldn't be able to use that or close combat expert. So that's very, very useful. Of course, you do have to sacrifice a Tradecraft token, and we'll see in a second why that might not be what you want to do. She has a defense power on her very last click, clearing the ledger. Stop. When this power is first revealed, remove all of Black Widow's Tradecraft tokens and heal her that many clicks. So there's really the big trade-off. And it gets even better, but for that, I mean, look, if she starts with 5 and you don't use any of them her entire turn and just let her go around walloping people with her stats, you're gonna go right back up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to click number 2 the first time she would be KO'd. So we're looking at 10 good clicks of Black Widow on the map. However, there's another option, another way to play her. She's got a special damage power for her first 2 clicks. That one is Leadership Outwit. Free. Remove a tradecraft token to generate a 003 Widow's Initiate, excuse me, or a 006 Widow's Recruit on click number 1. So, that's one is very useful as well. I was playing her that way the last time I played her, and just being able to spawn a bunch of friendly characters is very nice and very cool. Especially with the Outwit, it becomes even more useful. Looking at her dial, she starts with Penetrating Psychic Blast, which is very nice, especially if you sit her in Stealth originally. She's got Running Shots, so she can get in the action and do some damage quick. Close Combat Reflexes, so that even if you are able to get up to her because of her Stealth, she'll still have a good 20 defense on her first 2 clicks, actually, which is very nice. And then we see that Leadership and Outwit power on the first 2. She switches over to Exploit Weakness for those middle clicks, and then finalizes it with Close Combat Expert. Very nice. Precision Strike for the rest of the dial after that Penetrating Blast, Charge, and then a bit of Sidestep at the end. And then obviously we're looking at those 18 defenses with the Super Senses. That's very, very nice. This dial is very thick and very... I mean, looking at it, you're just like, dang, 100 points? Okay, I'll pay that. Well, that'll be it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed that pinup of Black Widow. There are going to be more of these. I have a few more of these planned, so stay tuned. And I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time.